we know leadership matters in business. How well you lead determines how well the company grows. How well you lead your team determines their performance. So today I want to address the top 20 mistakes I see leaders making in business. And by addressing them, I mean show you solutions. Because even if you're making only 2 or 3 of these mistakes, they could be costing you time, money. They could be costing you people too. So let's dive straight in. Number 1 biggest mistake I see leaders making is a lack of vision, okay? The lack of vision. Where are we going? Not just the day-to-day goals and that sort of stuff of management, but a vision. Where are we going in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 3 years? What is the vision for the organization? Now, I always like to think of a vision as like a guiding light, a North Star, a lighthouse, the 100-year goal, I guess, is sort of the thing. And if you look at, for us at Action Coach, our vision is world abundance through business re-education. See, a vision isn't just, let's make $10 million, okay? That's not a vision. That's a goal. It doesn't inspire people. A vision has to inspire and enroll. There its 2 main tasks. So make sure that you're focused on where you're going. Now, that doesn't just mean writing a vision statement. It also means each week, each month, each quarter, being visionary about where are we going this quarter? What are we doing? See, if you don't get them focused on the stars, they keep looking down at the pebbles type thing. Focus people on the stars and give them that vision so that there is something for them to be focused on and moving towards. Number 2 biggest mistake leaders make. Ignoring core values, okay? First of all, not defining the core values of the organization. It's culture document. Again, if you want an example, jump on actioncoach.com. You'll take a look at our core values, or as we call it, our culture statement, which defines who we are. See, the vision is why we do what we do, and the culture statement is who are we doing that? Because a big part of leadership is defining who we are and why we do what we do. When you think about the result of having that core values clear, it allows people when they join the organization to see an alignment of values, to know, yes, this is a place I want to work. This is a place I want to be a part. It allows your customers to see your core values and know that this is a place they want to be a part of. That is leadership. Diversity and inclusion can't happen if we don't have our values clearly stated out there to the world. If people like to feel like they belong, and a part of that is knowing that, yes, this is the similar people to me. These are the groups that I want to be a part of. Number 3, a leadership mistake, not recognizing achievement, not saying thank you to people, not going, hey, job well done. And it doesn't need to be the whole employee of the month thing. It can be a simple text message. It can be a simple note to someone, a simple email, a quick phone call. Hey, I noticed the work you did on the X job. Fantastic. Thanks for doing that. Appreciate all you're doing. That simple recognition of achievement and thank yous, very, very powerful part of it. Number 4 biggest mistake is poor communication, okay? Or even a lack of communication. Leaders need to learn communication. If you haven't gone and studied how to be a speaker, if you haven't gone and done some courses on understanding human behavior, the communication of the NLP stuff, understanding behavioral profiling, you need to, as a leader, go and train yourself in communication. Communication is not a born skill. It's a learned skill. So learn communication with your people and do more of it. The more you communicate, the better off your company will be. Number 5, not developing their team. This doesn't mean like team building. It means building the people in your team, getting them through training programs, having them coached. Having your people get better allows your company to get better. The more you build your people, the easier it is to lead them. As you help them become more accountable and take more ownership of the organization, they, of course, as they get better, they build their people to be better. A rising tide floats all boats. The more you train the organization, the more you build the organization, the better you will be as a leader because your people are performing better. Number 6, and I really think this one is a killer for a lot of leaders, favoritism. Okay, teamwork doesn't allow room for favoritism. Teamwork doesn't do that. You as a leader have to make sure that there isn't favoritism to different people. You have to turn a blind eye to that stuff. You've got to build that team, and you've got to be a strong enough leader to be able to make sure you treat everyone equally. Now, you'll coach them and mentor them differently because they're different. They have different behavioral profiles, different other things. And if you haven't done our leadership training, I would highly recommend you take a look at both our management and leadership training programs for yourself and your team, I guess. Number 7 biggest leadership mistake is not seeking input. Just making the decisions blind, especially if you're that ivory tower leader who's never even met some of their people, never walked around their building. And, I remember coaching this one particular gentleman, and he had a very large construction company. And I said, when was the last time you're on a job site? He hadn't been to a job site in years. And it's like, dude, you've got to get out there. You've got to go meet your people. The only way to be a great leader is to be amongst the people for a period of time. Not all the time, but get out there. Get out there and seek input. Ask for input. Always, always, always. Surveys, different feedback formats, meetings, you name it. You can get feedback in many different ways. Number 8, not leading change. A great leader leads change. They don't have to change. They lead the change. Being inflexible, being stoic and just, no, this is the way we've always done it. Great leaders lead the change. They don't wait for the change. They don't get forced to change. They lead the change. Okay, on to mistake number 9, a lack of accountability. Accountability is a big part of a leader's job, holding people to account to get the job done, to get their work done. It's easy to say, oh, well, they'll do it, and not worry about it. And, oh, I don't want to be a micromanager. No, this is not micromanagement. This is about holding people to account. Did you achieve the result in the way it needed to be achieved by the time we agreed it to be done? Holding people to account. The fact that people know you will check, the fact that people know you will be certain to be the one to check up on it is an important factor. I know as a business coach, one of the things that, if I can be blunt about it, my people know I'm going to ask. My coaching, when I'm coaching someone, they know that by next week, this has got to be done because Brad is going to ask. And they get it done because someone is there to hold them accountable. A big reason why business coaching works is the accountability factor. Number 10, doing it all themselves, the lack of delegation. A leader that is the choke point of an organization kills the organization. It's not leadership to do it all yourself. Leaders delegate. Leaders allow others to do the work for them. Leaders bring out the best in others. The greatest thing a leader can do is have think time, not be so busy that you don't get time to think and solve challenges. Make sure that you are not the do everything yourself person. Train your people, give them a system to do it, and then measure that they're doing it type thing. Number 11, ignoring team feedback. I had to learn this one, I guess, is probably the simplest way to put it, that your team, if your team is not giving you feedback, go back to the previous ones of seeking input. But when you do get the feedback, listen. Listen, listen, listen. As much as sometimes it's hard to hear, and I know for me, there's been times where I can be stubborn. I can not listen. But ignoring feedback from the team is a big leadership mistake. If it comes in one time from one person, okay, yep. If it comes in 2 times, if it comes in that 3rd time, there's probably something in that. You need to start looking at it. That brings us on to number 12, ignoring customer feedback, okay? A great leader in business listens to the customer. Now, if you as the leader of the company aren't meeting with customers, then there's a problem, okay? If you're not listening to your customers, if you're not doing things like, I know for us, we do a franchise FBR survey every year of our franchise partners to find out what they're thinking. We do surveys, net promoter scores of our customers to find out what they're thinking. We've got to ask these questions to be able to make great decisions out there in the marketplace. And when we get it, we got to listen. We got to learn from what they're telling us, not just ignore it and move on, okay? Speaking of ignoring, mistake number 13 leaders in business make is they ignore market shifts. If there is a trend, if there's a level of innovation, if there's a level of technology adoption, and you're not on the forefront of that, maybe not always on the forefront, but at least in the group that's moving in that direction type thing, if you are ignoring a shift in the market, then the business is going to struggle. That's a big part of leadership. Leadership is sometimes often referred to as one of those lonely roads or that sort of thing. It doesn't have to be. You build a great team around you. They help you see what's going on. They help you take their feedback, customer feedback, watch for market trends and market shifts. I think it's important for us to do that. And I guess that's why it's important as leaders to keep up our education, to keep ourselves learning and growing so we know what's going on out there in the market. Number 14, not breaking things. I hate that old thing of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. No, break stuff, pull stuff apart, play with it, do new things, test on it. Now, not with the whole company, but with a section of it, with a part of it, learn new things, find new stuff, do different things. I can't tell you the number of consultants and educators and coaches that me and my team have that help us break things and put it back together in a different way. Keep learning, keep growing, break stuff, break it apart, start again with it. Number 15, biggest business leadership mistake, focusing on growth over profits. I know I've been guilty of this in the past. Sometimes we've got to be patient for growth to make sure there is profitability, because without profitability, growth kills companies. Okay, bad financial decisions come from lack of data in most cases, but bad financial decisions, growth over profit is a big killer in a lot of companies. So keep those financial decisions strong. And if that means surrounding yourself with great financial people to help you make those decisions, do that. If you're not an expert in it, don't pretend to be. Get the advice of those who can give it to you. Number 16, this is a big mistake I see business leaders making. Overworking. Both yourself and your people, right? Overworking yourself. A lot of business leaders go into that and they burn out and they don't have the energy or the effort to take care of themselves, to take care of their team. They don't have the energy or effort to take care of their family. And that's a killer in a whole other way, a different subject. I just think that, and if you overwork your team, then you're crushing them too. People need time to think. People need time to be in relax mode. People need that time. So you need to be able to give it to them and allow them to do what's needed. I see a lot of business owners in particular, they're like, well, my staff don't work as hard as me. Of course they don't. They don't own the place. If they wanted to work as hard as you, they would open their own business, for goodness sake. Stop thinking that way. Don't overwork yourself. Don't overwork your team. If I can tell you, back in the day when I first started in business, I thought that the right thing to do was to work 16-hour days, 6 and 7 days a week. I wore it as a badge of honor that I would sleep in my office or be in the office before anybody and be the last one to leave type thing. And, some people say, well, isn't that the reason you succeeded so young? I think it was what held me back from succeeding a lot more. Unfortunately, my hard work covered up areas of the business where we needed to change things and we needed to do stuff differently. I'm not saying don't work hard. I think hard work's really important, but overwork is the killer for most business leaders. Number 17, lack of investing in the future. Okay, if you're a business leader, you need to invest in the future. And that could be technology, it could be training, but that lack of future investment is just putting you behind. It means you're going to get forced into change rather than making the change. You're going to get forced into, you get your back up against the wall and you have to come out and, don't put yourself into a negative just so you have to fight through it type thing. I've seen that with some sporting teams where they'll only perform if they're losing or they're down type thing. No, you have to get on the front foot. You have to invest in that, in your future of the organization, be that people or be that technology or systems or whatever it might be, brands, marketing. But investing in that future is a big part of it. And having that mindset as a leader to invest in the future is really important. Number 18, poor decision making. Listen, I had to go and take training on how to make decisions. Because a lot of times I was just doing a gut decision, not actually doing some form of analysis type thing. I ended up, through that training, I had to learn, and it took a while for me to get this one, but I had to learn to say to people, let me think on that for 24 hours. Let me just come back to you on that. Let me read some stuff about it. Let me, to not make the decision instantaneously so that I was making a good decision, not an instant decision. I had to learn that sometimes fast decisions were costing me a lot, and I had to get better at making decisions, and therefore I had to work a system for making decisions. It meant me going away and doing training on it type thing. Crazy as it is, had to happen. Mistake number 19, not knowing what leadership is. So what is leadership? Leadership is really two things. Number one, passion. Number two, focus. If you can build passion in your team and bring the passion out of your people, great leadership right there. If you can keep your people focused, great leadership right there. Don't make it about 100 things. Don't make it about 4 million this, that, and the other things. No, leadership, keep yourself focused. Passion and focus. Are my people passionate about what we're doing? Are my customers passionate about buying from us? Are my customers passionate brand advocates for what we do? Are my team focused? Are my customers focused on the future for us? Am I keeping that happening? That, my friend, is great leadership. And finally, number 20 mistake that business leaders make, no succession planning. Not planning for the future, not planning for someone to take over when you're gone. You've got to have succession planning. You've got to build the business to know that someone needs to take over. Who is that someone? Where is it? Are you building them? I know for me, building the people in my company is one of the greatest joys that I get. Building them to be better executives, better CEOs, or better CFOs, or whatever the title of their job is, but building great people, hence being in the business coaching and mentoring business, I guess. So listen, if you're not working with an action coach, make sure you do that. Jump in, call them actually, and find out about our leadership training, management training programs, all the training programs, and all the coaching programs that we offer for you to help you grow your business and your team of people. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Keep coming back for more. Subscribe. Make sure you follow with me and keep coming back so you can keep learning.